Good morning. So I was just listening to one of the sermons from Pastor Stephen. And it is an old sermon from him. It came out in November of 2021. Hey guys, look, we have a visitor this morning. Say hi. I'm calling this little guy Moonbeam because look, he's like pitch black, but he's got this little mark underneath his neck. Kind of looks like a moonbeam coming down. And he is like super, super friendly. He came up the other night with 3 other cats, and this morning he decided to come visit. And my sweetheart went ahead and gave him a couple pieces of chicken. So yeah, this cat's not gonna be going probably anywhere because he's been fed. That's what happens when you feed creatures. They don't want to go away. If you give them food, if you feed them, if you feed their soul, if you feed their mind, if you feed their bodies, whatever food you want to give them. And most people know I'm not a cat person, but this one's really sweet. Really sweet. Yep. I'm not a cat. Will you stop? Right. Well, I don't know why he's up in my face now, but I'm talking, I guess, and he wants my orange juice. Yep, you're getting orange juice. Because I was thirsty and I needed something with nutrition. So, but I was listening to this sermon from a couple of years ago. And I was messaging with him the other day with Pastor Steve. And he told me that I should go visit an orphanage. And I said, well, why do I need to do that? I am already a mama. And not just to my birth children, but to other children, like I've mentioned throughout other videos, to other children. I already know fosters. I already know creatures that just need some attention. And he said I needed to sacrifice myself some more. I needed to make another sacrifice. And I got mad, man. Like, I did. I got mad at Pastor Steve. I was mad at him. I said, why? Why should I have to continue to sacrifice myself? I have sacrificed my body, my mind, my soul, my spirit. And there's a difference between your soul and your spirit. My faith, my children, money, homes, my time. I've sacrificed all of these things over the years. I'm not the only person in the world who does this. Just about everybody I know sacrifices all of these things. Their body, their time, their mind, their soul, their spirit, their faith. I'm not the only person out here that feels like I've done nothing for my entire life but sacrifice. I know I'm not. And I know I've had blessings, don't get me wrong. I've definitely had some blessings. I have some great friends that became my chosen family. They are my family in love, my family in choice. I have some good family members. I can't say all of my family members are horrible people. They're not. My one uncle was posting about how he took his girlfriend's son. I think it's his girlfriend's son. I'm assuming that's who it is. There's a little boy. I'm assuming it's his girlfriend's son. Fishing. And that the little boy was so happy that my uncle took him and got him off the PlayStation. Took him fishing instead. He had more fun fishing than he did playing video games. Oh, ain't that something? A little boy would have more fun fishing than playing video games. And see, and I'm big on getting off the electronics. I mean, I know I'm on my phone. It's my communication device to the outside world, especially being so far away from everybody. But see, I'm communicating with people. And most of the time, though, when people are on video games, or playing games in general, they're not playing with people. They're playing against a computer. No, I mean, it gives you trials. It gives you practice. But how much practice are you getting if you never communicate with another human being? I know, and over the years, I've had people tell me, well, you should share your story. I said, well, my story ain't for the faint of heart. My life isn't for the faint of heart. If you can't handle it, I don't blame you. I couldn't handle it either, man. Woman, child, I couldn't handle it either. It literally drove me insane. It broke me. So, but Pastor Stephen was talking about Samuel. And then I've recently been introduced to my own Samuel. Hi, when you see this. It's nice to see you. Or maybe it's nice for you to see me. I don't know. But when you see this, hello. Which is what clicked it in my head that I started paying a little bit more attention because I think there's huge meaning in names. And in another sermon, Pastor Stephen was talking about Benjamin. And how his mother had named him Benani, which was the word for pain. Because as she was taking her last breath, he was taking his. That might be the same sermon. Actually, I might be in the same sermon. And, well, he was talking about Benjamin and Benani. And how the same person had two different names. And, how the mother was buried outside of Bethlehem. Her end happened right outside of Bethlehem. And Benjamin's beginning happened right outside of Bethlehem. He was talking about Saul, and he was talking about Samuel, and he was talking about how Samuel tried to help Saul be king. Be king. Not become king necessarily, but be king. He kept trying to teach him, he kept trying to show him, he kept trying to better him. And he didn't even like him. Samuel didn't even like Saul. But he tried. He tried his best. He tried to convince him. Man, you're bigger than what you think you are. You are more worthy than what you see yourself. But see, Saul just couldn't get that idea in his head, and eventually, well, even God got tired of him. Well, God got tired of him before Samuel got tired of him. Samuel was still willing to try. And then God sent Samuel on down the river and said, well, when you get there, you're going to have to find the next Messiah. You're the leader to the next Messiah. I'm trying to remember all the words. But he didn't tell him who it was that he was looking for. So he gave him so much information, so many tools, so much knowledge. But he didn't give him the final answer. Well, it wasn't his final answer, but he just didn't give him the next answer. So as Samuel was like, but what do you mean when I get there, I have to find? So why can't you just tell me who I need to go look for? Why can't we save time? Time is precious. We need to save time. I need to know the answers. So Samuel goes on down, and he gets to where his location is, and he starts looking. And he had to go through one after another, before he finally found who he was looking for. Before he finally found his David. That would lead him to Jesus, who was also born in Bethlehem. So as Benjamin's beginnings happened outside of Bethlehem, Jesus' beginnings happened in Bethlehem. But Benjamin's mother died and Mary didn't. She continued. She lived. She survived. She had more children. She gave birth as a virgin. Now let's see, here's the question is that whose definition of virgin do you want to go by? Because the Christian definition is a pure woman who's never been touched. But if you look back in other languages and in other cultures, that's not what virgin means. Seriously, it's not. In other cultures, it pretty much means lover. So you got to go depending on whose culture you want to go off of. But Christian belief is Mary was wholly impregnated, touched by the hands of God in a way, to give birth to Jesus, the Son of God. So, but Samuel had to go and find David. And the question is if he could give us all this other information, if he can give us all these other tools, if he could give Samuel all of this other information and all these other tools and tell him exactly what he wanted from him, well, why couldn't he have just told him David's name? Well, because he needed Samuel to go through the process of elimination. He needed him to figure it out on his own. Not just like we got to. We get the tools. We get given the information and the knowledge. But it is up to us to use it to find our Davids. I'm loving the name of this vape pen. It's Church Brand. Baptism by fire. I have felt that. How many other people have felt that? That in this life and in this time and in this world, we were baptized by fire. But washed clean by water. Yeah. What I love is back of my hand, this hand especially, in this particular one, my right hand, on the back of it, has had third-degree burns. More than once. Can anybody see the scars? I had 350-degree grease pour into a glove, a latex or those vinyl gloves that restaurants use. Pretty sure it was latex back then when it happened because this was 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It's what time can do. Can heal. Remake. And I can kind of see the little teardrop. And what's funny is the friend who I'm with, well, one night we were cooking together at a restaurant, because that's where we met at work. And I went to go pull a fryer basket up, and he went to go throw a piece of chicken that he had just breaded, and he went to go throw it into the basket he had just dropped, but it was the last piece that he had almost missed. And at the same time as I'm pulling it up, he's throwing it in, and a splash came up. And right there underneath my ring finger knuckle, about where that right about there. Oh, there it is. I can see it. See the teardrop? Well, it's more like a teardrop if you turn it this way. But he did that on accident. Not on purpose. He'd never hurt me on purpose. In the same restaurant, I had cut my fingers. I hurt myself quite often in this restaurant. Everyone's like, oh man, you're just so accident prone. Not really. I am ADHD, and at the time I was undiagnosed and I was untreated. So my brain felt like it was going on 30 different roller coasters all the time. It was over here and over here and over here and over here, and like, hey, 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 hey. They really need a more powerful battery. But it'll be alright. It's a fly trying to get my horseshoes. But seriously, why? Like, so trying to get back on topic. Why couldn't God have just said, "You're going to this town and you're gonna find this man named David"? Would have made it too easy. Well, we all know one thing, that life is not. Well, life is not easy. Very few people have ever met that could say, "Oh, my life is so easy." And then I joke all the time with the babies. "Oh, I know it's just so hard being the baby. You had your food made for you. Somebody bathes you, does your laundry, pays your bills. You literally only have to exist. So hard to be the baby." But then I remember. I have scars from when I was a baby. It's actually on that wrist. It's right. Let's see if I can get it. Can you guys see it? It's right there. It's in the shape of an iron, but it's been stretched out over the years because it happened when I was a baby. I asked when I was, I don't know, probably 5 or 6. "Mom, what happened to my wrist? What is... Let's see if I can get it. I really can't. I don't know if I can get it or not. But what is that scar? What is it from, Mom? Why is it in a perfect, like, V-shaped going down my arm?" Because back then, it only took up about this much of my arm, maybe. But it was in the perfect shape of an iron. She said she was ironing clothes one day, and I came over and I tugged on the iron, or on the cord, or on her skirt, or whatever, and I pulled the cord down, and I pulled the iron down, and it landed perfectly on my arm. Perfectly. For the tip to hit up here, and for about, like the top part of an iron to go on my arm perfectly, and to land there and stay there long enough to burn so bad that I am scarred 37, 38 years later. But 12 years ago, I had 350-degree grease go on this hand. And, I don't know. There's some wrinkles. I'm 39. I've been out in the sun. I've worked hard. Just doesn't make that much sense to me anymore. And I've tried to ask my brothers. They don't know. Well, the two would have been 11 and 12. That's still old enough to remember. But if they were at school, because I was a baby and they would have been at school, well, they wouldn't know. And they probably don't even remember my injuries, considering all of our lives. We're 5 kids from the same family, but we are not 5 kids from the... We are five kids from the same blood family, but we are not 5 kids necessarily from the same mental family. And we all had our trials and our tribulations, and we've all had our own stories. Like I said, my 2 oldest brothers are 9 and 10 years older than me. The next 2 are 4 and 5 years older than me. A lot can happen in that time frame. Because from my oldest 2 boys and the mother I was, to them when they were younger, to the mother I was, to my youngest son when he was younger, and to all 3 of them, even at this point, well, they'll all tell you, I'm not the same mama that they have always grown up with. I was a baby when I had my babies. I was 16, pregnant at 15, had him at 16, pregnant at 16, had my second one at 17. They're 10 and a half months apart. My baby was born when I was 24. We just did the math last night. Because he's been calling me or messaging me when he gets out of school so I can talk to him. So my baby was born when I was 24. From 16 to 24, a lot happens. Well, at least for me, a lot happened. And no, I didn't get to finish out high school. I got my GED. I didn't get to go to college. I've applied for college twice. I've tested in. I did better than I thought I was going to do on my entry exam. But I was pregnant the last time with my youngest, and I got put on bed rest right before the school semester started thing. And online school was half-assed at best back then, and I knew I wouldn't be able to do online school. So I just didn't. And over the years, I've had so many dreams of different things to become. I've wanted to be a singer, a performer. I wanted to be a physical therapist and massage therapist. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to learn how to cook better. I would love to be able to make the food that he makes. He uses different seasonings than I do. Everybody's got their go-to seasoning, so he uses a different one than I do. He knows what brings out other flavors better than I do. And I mean, I'm pretty good at what brings out this flavor or that flavor, but nothing like him. And so through my life, I now realize that, well, until I could find the right one, the right spot, the right place, the right time, I had to do the process of elimination. We all do. Not just me. We all do. Why do you think so many people have so many relationships before they find that right one? And you kind of get closer and closer and closer every time. But there's like always something, just something off. Just a little off. You're so perfect. Everybody kept telling me that my most recent ex was so perfect for me. And 99% of the ways he was. 95 to 99. And I was for him. 95 to 99%. But that 1%, man. That's all it takes is that 1%. Just 1%. 1% for it to not be perfect. For you to know, for you to find out, for you to realize that it doesn't matter how good it feels. If he's not right, if she's not right, if they're not right, if the job's not right, it can be almost perfect. But if the job's not right, you're never going to be satisfied. Well, I've had other people tell me, well, why don't you get an online job? Because my psychiatrist knows that the pressure of that at this moment, until I'm a little bit more stable, could be a catalyst into my mental health going back downhill. Just a little bit of stress. Oh, that lady looks like she's walking a little bit better today. That's good. I was praying for her yesterday. Saying to her, I was saying out loud to the demons and stuff around me and to the spirits around me, y'all need to lay off that woman. You can tell by the way she was bent over, you can tell by the way she was walking yesterday, how slow she was walking yesterday. She was hurting. Today she's standing up a little straighter. Today she's walking different. Well, today she's wearing white, and yesterday she was wearing dark colors. Yeah, but see, I wear a little low. I got my dark, but I got my light. I got white socks on. Gotta wear it all. The dark and the light and the dark. You gotta figure out the light and the dark as you do your process of elimination, as you walk through your life, as you make your decisions, as you make your choices, because the Bible says if you go away from God, but I'm going to say if you go away from yourself. If you lose yourself pleasing everybody else, well, by Bible terms, you're going away from God. Because in Bible terms, we are all a piece of God. He created us. He created the garden, put Adam and Eve. Said, don't eat that fruit, and they did. They got the knowledge. And with that knowledge came the downfall. Because ignorance is bliss. If you stay off in your own little bubble all the time and you don't know what's going on around you, I'm sure you can be happy and ignorant. Not stupid. There's a difference between having ignorance against a situation and being stupid. Because somebody could explain the situation to you and you could get it right on as soon as they start explaining to you. I get it. But if you're not paying attention to your situation around you, if you're not paying attention to your life around you, if you're not paying attention to your environment around you, if you're ignoring it, ignore. If you're ignoring the signs that are everywhere for which way you need to go. Yeah, sometimes you can turn left when the sign tells you right turns only. I don't mean in a car, I mean when you're walking. See? People about to say, hey, no, you can't go the wrong way down a one-way. That's not what I mean. But I mean, if you're out walking, well, those roads mean nothing. The only thing those roads mean is you gotta watch out for traffic. Because cars are going to be going on it. But if you're walking, you can walk through the grass. You can cut through parking lots. You can cut down alleyways easier. You can take shortcuts if you're walking. You can sometimes walk in a different path than what is designated for you to walk. Sometimes you have to. My walk the other night, the path that they had designated for me to take was blocked off. I had to find an alternate route. Imagine that. I had to do a process of elimination to figure out what was going to be my best way to go. And I'm not even talking about in a relationship. I'm talking about just walking from point A to point B. And not knowing where I'm at. You know, we have maps and we have GPS now. When I was growing up, we only had maps and atlases, globes. Now we have a GPS. And I was using the GPS as I was talking to you guys. I still had to figure my way out because the GPS wanted me to go one way and it didn't know that way was blocked off. So I had to go around. I had to find an alternative route. I wasn't walking those train tracks then. Safety first. I was alone. It was getting dark. I'm a female. We had to be more cautious. Stay onto the main roads. Stay on the streets. It's less likely that something will happen to you on the streets than it would be walking through the woods on train tracks. You never know who's out in those woods. Even in a town like this that I absolutely love. I don't know who's out in those woods. I had a truck the other day. I was going to cross the street and turn, and this truck was waiting for me to go, and I'm like, but it's turning in the same direction I'm going in. No, I'm good. This truck can go first. I'll wait. No, I was in the middle of doing something anyways. I was playing with my MP3 player or something. My phone. I was doing something. But, but that guy in that truck, he pulled forward a little bit. He was an older gentleman. He said, I'm sorry, I don't mean to freak you out. And I think he figured out he freaked me out. I'm sorry, I'm a female walking alone in a city that I'm not from. Hell, even in the city I am from, I wouldn't want to be. It was still something in my head that said, hey, you let this truck go first and then you walk because you don't want this truck turning behind you. You never know. It's a pickup truck. I could tell it was a man. Now what I didn't know was he was an older man. He's a Navy vet. He was taught to let the pedestrians go first. He was taught. But I was in the middle doing something. I didn't need him to let me go first. There was nobody else around. These are side streets. These aren't main roads. Sir, I do appreciate you if you ever see this video. You reminded me that not everybody has bad intentions. Thank you. But see, my mind, from where I'm from, the areas that I grew up in, you let the pickup truck go first. You let it go first. Because especially when it's a man and you're a female walking alone, you let that pickup truck go first. Because you never know. Now, I got lucky. He was a nice guy. And if he wouldn't have been a nice guy, well, as everybody figured out yet, I can get awfully mean if I need to. I am a fighter. I'm a natural born fighter. I was born with an angel's grace and hell's fire. Southern belle when I'm happy. I'll be the sweetest woman you've ever met. Southern hell when I'm not. Yeah, I'm sure a bunch of people can understand that one. That is my two sides, my angel and my demons. I can either be a Southern belle or I can be Southern hell. Take a pick. Reflections. There's been some stuff that's happened this week that I'm not happy about. That I found out about. I don't know if it happened exactly this week, but I know it happened. I know when I asked to speak to somebody and they chose to ignore me, I got even more mad. I slept on it. And then I responded. I reached out first. Because I said, I asked you to talk to me. And you didn't. So, here's my point of view. He didn't like my point of view. He basically was telling me to shove it up my ass. He told me that my son's stepmom had a right to smack him. Excuse me? No, sir. And no, ma'am, to her. No. He says she's done more for that child in the last 9 years than him and I have. Well, why is that? How is that possible that somebody who is not blood related to your child has done more for your child in the last 9 years than you have, when you were the one to take him away from me? I could have been doing plenty for him. I was already doing plenty for him. I was feeding him, I was clothing him, I was getting him up every day, I was taking him to school. He was in preschool at the time. Yeah, the only time he missed preschool at the time, though, was because his dad's work schedule was, he was off for, days during the week. And since it was preschool, I told his dad, get as much visits in as you can because we can't do this once kindergarten starts. He ain't going to be able to miss school. And I slipped up. I did. I messed up. I listened to other people when I knew better. I lost myself by listening to other people when I knew better. And then I went 9 years without losing myself like that again. 9 years. So it's not like I'm every day lose myself this way. Just when circumstances push me to a point where, like a lot of people, like almost every single person I've ever met, I don't care how nice you think you are. I don't care how nice you come across. I don't care how sweet you come across. Everybody is capable. Capable. And for those who want to say, well, but he's just a kid. So is my son. See, there's this show out called Killer Kids. Think about the title for that. Killer Kids. And when I say that I was in fear for my life, that I was afraid I was going to wake up one day and that this kid was going to be over top of me, stabbing me and beating me, doing something to me because of his anger that then got directed at me because I became the mother figure. And he has problems with his mother figure, with his mother, with his birth giver, as he calls her. He has problems with her because of her treatment towards him. Here's the thing. I resemble her. I talk like her sometimes. I say she's like my evil twin, only she's older than me. She is who I could have been had I let the darkness take hold. And talking to my auntie last night, we were talking about my nephew's mom's name. Her name was Tammy. Her name was Tammy. She's been gone about 6 months. And my aunt said, well, that could have been you. Yeah, you're right. That could have been me in those woods. If I wouldn't have fought. You think I didn't think about that when we went to that funeral home? And I saw her on that stretcher, that gurney, through that window. You don't think anybody doesn't think that I didn't think about that? When I saw her laying like that I was happy that my niece decided not to come. I was happy that when I said to my brother, don't bring your youngest. And he listened. You don't think that me and my brother and her brother all stood right there through that window talking to her, even though her spirit was gone. It wasn't in that body no more. Her soul and her spirit, they were gone. And she might have been there with us. She might have been on that side of that glass where we were, watching our reactions to seeing her. Yeah, and at that point in time, I came across as very cold-hearted. I just wanted to get everything situated and everything done. I wanted to get the cremation details taken care of for everybody. Did I want to be the one doing it? I shouldn't have been the one doing it. She had a grandmother. Her mother is not capable of doing it, so we're just going to leave her out of it. She's a sweet woman who just had a very fucking hard life. And due to the abuse of a man, she's not capable of taking care of those kind of arrangements. She has brothers. She has aunts and uncles. She has an adult child. She has 2 adult children, and one of them had to come and sign the death certificate because the other one wouldn't. Because she had screwed over the older one so much that he is still angry at her 6 months later. And his sister can't understand that. Sorry, baby girl, I know you don't understand why your brother is so mad. I know you want him to just get past it and get through it, but it's going to be harder than that. It's going to take more than you wanting him to get, or me wanting him. He needs to process everything, and he hasn't. One day he will. When he does, I have her ashes for him. I'm assuming I do when my ex packed up my stuff and took it to my mother's house. I'm assuming he put her ashes in with that stuff out of the dresser. I'm assuming. I hope so. If not, then I know they're at his house. I'll find out when I go, for sure, when I go through my stuff. But I know if they're not with my stuff, then they're at his house. He said he takes in everything. So, but did I want to be the one contacting the funeral home? Did I want to be the one going and picking up her ashes? Did I want to be the one that ordered those 6 little urns, or 8 little urns? 6. It was 6 little urns. So that each one of her kids could have a piece of her mother, her aunt, and her brother. No. I didn't want to be that person. Who would? But I was who was needed for that job at that point in time. And the funeral home understood. I'm not cold and callous. But you see, guys, here's the thing. In the last 6 years, I have been to my cousin's funeral. Somebody who I consider like my little brother, because he was my oldest son's uncle. His funeral. My best friend. One of my bosses. And we didn't get to have a funeral for my father. We had what was supposed to be a celebration of life, but when I got there for it, I did not feel like we were celebrating his life. I felt like they were celebrating his death. That he was no longer on this planet. It did not feel like a celebration of life. We weren't telling stories about him. We weren't talking about him. They were shooting guns, music, food. It was a party. It just didn't feel like it was the right kind of party, what we were supposed to be having. So I left early. I took some pictures. See, that's the next thing. If you look at those pictures of me and my brothers, and even the one with my mother involved in it, yet my mother came to my father's celebration of life, but his own wife didn't. His sisters didn't. It was too far. It was during COVID. They were scared. One was doing chemo, so I mean, Auntie, you're definitely excused. I understand why you didn't come. I think one was having some kind of hip or knee replacement or something. Okay. And I can't remember what was going on with the third one. His brother was there. His younger brother, who's more like another brother to me than he is an uncle, but he's my uncle. Cousins of my dad's were there. One in particular who, if my dad's body was in a casket and not burned up ashes in an urn, well, he would have been rolling over. But these pictures I was talking about, it's got all 5 of us lined up. It's probably the first time in 26 years that we have been together like this. The last picture, I think, of the 5 of us together was taken at my mother's funeral. Of us sitting on the couch in the funeral home. So 26 years later, we were standing against my one brother's garage at the property where this celebration of life took place. And I went to try to stand in front, with them, and got shoved. And so, no, we're going to do this in order of oldest to youngest. Not the 4 boys and then the only girl standing in front. Nope, but our mother got to stand in front. And she joined in on the picture. So there's pictures of the 4 boys standing really close together and then me standing off to the side a little bit. You can see the gap. You can look at this picture and tell I am not close with these people. I am with one of them. The second oldest. The one that's 9 years older than me. His birthday's 2 days after mine. our grandmother, the one that I was talking about, the funeral, or the picture 27 years ago, 27 years ago now. It'd be 28, it'd be 27. In a long time. I was 12, 39, so 27 years ago. This November. Now, that was a little different picture. We were closer back then. And these are the things that I have to, when I go back and I look at pictures, when I go back into my history, and there's lots of pictures. There's a whole shit ton of them on my phone right now. I cannot look at. I mean, like, I can't even look at them to go erase them. I don't want to erase them. It was a fun trip. Most of it. My spiritual awakening trip. So the last picture I took on that trip before I got out of the car when we got home is a picture of me bawling my eyes out. Because my now ex, I don't even know why. I seriously don't know why you did this. But when we pulled in the yard, and he shut the car off and everybody got out, and me and him were getting ready to get out, he reached over and punched the dash of the car. Right in front of me. He didn't punch the steering wheel in front of him. He reached over like he wanted to hit me. But instead of hitting me, he hit the dashboard. And then he got out of the car. And he went inside. And I sat there stunned. And I started crying. Well, why would I start crying because he did something like that? Well, because I was looking at him. I was looking at you. When you looked at me and then got so angry that you reached over, and I thought for a second you were about to punch me. And you went towards the dash. I still don't know what I did. And you can tell me that it was you were exhausted from driving and that you were tired from the long trip and that you were stressed out over money, and I'm sorry I ever asked you to go on that trip. I thought it was going to be a nice family vacation. No, not a vacation, it was a trip. Literally. Like triple fun. Oh, who the bell tolls. Church bells on the street are ringing. I guess for my ex and I, we were just another process of elimination. And we were almost perfect. Almost. But as they say, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Doesn't count in real life. Yeah, but those 5 years, 9 months, 3 days that we were together, those definitely count. They were some of the best days of my life. I hate the way we ended. It would have been so much better if you just would have told me you were done with me. I had a feeling. So in that survey where he said that, sometimes you're going to be holding on so tight to things that you don't want to lose. But God will just take them away. I didn't want to lose you, and I didn't want to lose those kids. I had every plan to be your wife. I had every plan to be their mother. But while we're making plans, God's laughing. He's telling you to enjoy it while you can. Because when He's ready, when it's time, God's going to take it away from you, whether you want to or not. And He has. She, that entity that refuses to come down here and sit in this chair next to me and have a conversation with me. He likes to speak through my music. He says, I don't have to sit in the chair next to you. Just turn on the music. I'll speak to you. It's one of the languages of the world. But no, that's not how I wanted us to end. I really wish you would have just told me you were done. I would have packed my bags, I would have left. You see, I survived. I always survived. Yeah, I told you for years. I didn't need you. I wanted you. I didn't need you. I wanted you. I wanted those kids. All 6 of them. All 9 of ours together. I wanted them. I don't get them. So I've had to stop wanting what I wanted. I've had to learn to let go of it. To realize that if it was really meant to be, it would be. We'd still be together if it was meant to be. And you said it perfect when you said, well, Jessica, I can't be who you need anymore. You were never who I needed. You were who I wanted. I enjoyed our life together. For the most part. Everybody has their times, man. Frustrations get high and stress gets high. We don't get high. Sobriety, man. But the way it ended, it didn't need to. And again, God could have just said, you were already with who you're supposed to be with. Stay with them. But God didn't say that. God said 6 years ago to me and my friend, you guys met? Well, Jessica, here's one more trial. Jessica, here's another trial. Jessica, here's another trial. I didn't listen. I should have listened. I didn't listen. I had to go and make more mistakes over and over, the same mistakes over and over again, before I got it right. But thank you, love, thank you so much. You taught me so much. You saved me in ways that I can never explain to you. You wouldn't understand. I've tried, and you don't understand, so I know you wouldn't understand if I tried to tell you in the ways that you have saved me. See? Sometimes I get a good hit, and sometimes I don't. Same way in life. Better. Still not great. I mean, the cart is fine. The battery's just not strong, and I just charged it, so yeah, I know it's charged. Okay. I'm almost an hour in, and I usually try to keep these shorter. And here lately, I have not been keeping them shorter. I've had a lot to say. Just trying to remember, you might be like Samuel. You might have a process of elimination to go through before you find your Messiah. Sometimes you might find them right there on the first time. Sometimes. But for most of us, it's not how it happens. Most of us. Oh well. We gotta try and try and try and try and try again. If at first you don't succeed, try, 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 try. Till you figure out what the hell you're doing wrong, man. And once you figure out what you're doing wrong, fix it. Do better. But if at first you don't succeed, try, 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 try again. Keep searching. Keep looking. Because when you find it, it'll click like a puzzle piece. That right job, that right person, that right place, it'll click like a puzzle piece. It's almost audible with how loud the universe can get when your pieces are falling into place. I actually sat right there in that chair and felt my piece fall in place. Felt it. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be here with him. I'm meant to be here. Yes, I will go wash my hands here in a minute because I know I cried and my nose got runny, and I know I don't have a tissue, and I'm not getting up and walking in the house because he is asleep and I have to walk. Anyways, I'm not doing all that. But when I get off this video, I will go inside and I will wash my hands because cleanliness is next to godliness. In my OCD self. And y'all wonder why. I'm always on the cleaning. Clean, 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 clean. I want the clean world. I want a clean house. I want a clean world. I want a clean life. Yeah, I know I take my medications. It's not being clean, but it is being clean. They're prescribed to me for reasons. Pain, appetite, mental stability, focus from the Ritalin. Ibuprofen helps with pain. Diclofenac gel helps with pain. Topamax helps with my headaches. But it also has a bonus of working as like a mood stabilizer or something too. And Nurtec for migraines that the Topamax didn't stop. And ibuprofen isn't taking away. Because I get massive migraines quite often. Not so much here in the last few weeks. I've been getting lucky, but I still get them. But that is a way to live clean, is by doing what you need to do for your own self. Your medications that make you feel better. No, not the ones that you get off the street that make you feel numb. I mean the ones that actually honestly make you feel better. Get you up and moving. Out of that bed, off that couch, out of that house. That's living clean. So, but, bye guys. Thank you. I love you. Talk to you later.